What's Morales from Black Film TV? Hello, folks. How's it going?
How
Hi,
you doing, Rose?
Fred.
Laz, and you guys have done enough work, was it film or TV? Here's animated. We want to make sure these are your voices. Laz, what would it say? Yes, taking on this lead role as the dad.
For me, it just checked all the boxes. It was an area that I am very passionate in, which is sci-fi. Also Afrofuturism, seeing Black folks in space doing cool stuff, fighting crime, fighting aliens. There is more space for us to occupy in that genre, and any opportunity that we can and do it well on a high level, we should do it. So it was a no-brainer for me.
What about you, Yvonne?
Same. I love the idea of wholesome family content and something that can attract every member of the family to come sit around and watch a show together and build the relationships and community within the family. Sign me up. I'm here for it. I love, especially multi-generational content, because there's a grandmom in the mix. I love it. I was like, yes, I see it. I see my nieces and nephews growing up and having this as a piece of, content that they can enjoy.
When you're doing the animated show or series, obviously, you're doing this from from confines of your home or somewhere else. Not everybody's together. Is it less stressful knowing that, like, okay, I don't have to get dressed. All I have to do is work my voice. Where's he? And do they talk to you about doing something with your voice to have your character be different than what you normally sound? Anyone can answer it.
I think it's different, Laz, and I'll let you speak, but like I found it a little bit more difficult than live action, just because you can play off of other people and what's actually happening. We're voicing stuff that isn't put to motion yet, and so we're kind of like, well, how does this look? And then it's like, depending on what the other characters' inflections are, you may have to change something that you already recorded just to match that energy. So it was a different process for me, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough when you can't play opposite someone's energy and respond in kind. Sometimes it's just a tone thing. You can say the exact same line 100 different ways, and that's the part that complicates it. Also, when you're fighting fictional characters, it takes a lot more description from the writers and the creators as to how big these things are, how far they are away from you, how loud am I projecting? Am I speaking to 2,000 people or am I speaking to 50 people? All those little things adjust your performance. So it takes a little longer in that respect to get the right tone, because you're working in a dark room. They're the ones that know what it's supposed to look like at the end. You don't.
Yeah.
When you do a show like this, for some of you, it's new process. One, how did you relate to the character you're playing? Because even when you say yes, there's got to be something about this character that you say, okay, I feel a little bit of me inside this. And what's your takeaway from doing this process that helps you out with projects coming up down the road? Yvonne?
When you date, you have a gentleman that you're like, I need you to do better.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
So even though I am not married with anybody's children, I was able to tap into, past experiences of just desiring more for the sake and the goodness of cohesion. And so I brought that energy, I channeled that energy into Tessa's character. Laz, what was your motivation?
So you've had practice checking dudes, huh? Basically.
You didn't see her shows? Terry. Have you not seen her comedy shows?
Man, you check Terry. You check Terry. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been in Terry's shoes, where, honestly, where you just are trying to do too many things at one time. You're just doing too much. And at a certain point, you got to stop, and you have to think of what the other person's needs are, not just yours, or thinking that your version of giving is their version of receiving. You got to know what it means for them to receive in order to properly love them, and so that's a lesson that we all can do better at. And I think we really see it in this relationship between them two.
It's a fun show. Obviously, whenever you do a series, we hope there's more to it. So let's hope that this takes off really well enough, so that way they can wait. They don't have to wait. They can go sooner than later and getting that renewal. Like, okay, now we know, because sometimes when you get a series, it takes a while before people get into it.
Right.
And then once they hear it, it's going to come back. Okay, now let me go back and watch these things. So congrats on these roles. Obviously, you're always going to continue to work in different projects. We'll always be there to support wherever you guys are at. Stay safe.
You have a great IG page too, man. I enjoy all the releases you put out.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks. Wilson Morales from Black Human TV. Hello, folks. How's it going?
Good. It's going amazing.
Good. It's a fun series to watch. So talking about getting into these characters, and did you shoot it together, in terms of doing the voices, or did you do it from separate places? Priah?
Yes, we actually did it from separate places. I believe, JeCobi, you was in LA.
Well, for when I first shot it, I was in Atlanta, but then I had to move to LA. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So we did, but we didn't shoot it together. Our sessions will always be separate. I was in Atlanta. Yeah.
Is it a different feeling when you're just voicing character as opposed to getting ready, makeup stuff, and you gotta do different takes, and you're just, all you have to do is worry about your voice? Priah?
Yes, it's a very different feeling. I know for me, like, it's kind of cool because I get to wear my hair however I want to wear it. I get to come in however I want. So it's different. And also it kind of works with your schedule a little bit more too. So you kind of tell them what days you're available. They'll tell you when they need your voiceover by, and you just kind of go in and do it when you're free and have it in by that due date. What about, I don't know if it's the same for you?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of the same, I come in, do my thing. It was always fun doing sessions with them. I feel like I really related to the character in a lot of ways.
I was going to ask that question next. Like, obviously, when you take on a role, whether it be animated or anything else, I always think there's got to be something within that character that you can relate with. So how do you relate to the character you're playing? At what point, when you were reading your script and you're reading your character, do you say, okay, this is me? Priah?
I would say, me and Lisa are both teenagers, so we're going through that teenager phase where we don't really see eye to eye with our parents all the time. The lines kind of get blurred or wired. Well, the wires get a little blurred. So sometimes I do have that experience with my parents, like how Lisa is discovering her teenage or discovering herself. I'm discovering myself, and sometimes your parents are, it's kind of hard for them to break away. So those would be our similarities as well. And I'm also the oldest sibling. I have a younger sister, so that's how it.
What about you, JeCobi? Obviously, you were mentioning, you related to the character. Anything else more that you can say that when you were doing this, you saw yourself into it?
Yeah, when I first got the script, I was definitely like really connected to the character. I felt like this character was like really meant for me, and I feel like I really just connected to the character in so many ways with how he acts, his personality, and I feel like I really brought the character to life in so many fun ways. But it was really an amazing experience getting to connect with the character like that, to be honest.
How are you into the games? Obviously, early on, we see that your characters are playing with the games, and you're all communicating each other. Are you guys, do you guys play games? In terms of talking, whether it be Madden or anything else?
I mean, I do. I play a lot of games actually, but right before this, I was playing Call of Duty. No, I was playing a fighting game called UFC 4. You need to drop UFC 5, but I do play a lot of games. I love Fortnite. I mean, Fortnite's kind of old now, but I do like a lot of shooting games.
What about you, Priah? Do you have any time?
I know with me, I try to gaslight myself into thinking I like playing games.
Yeah.
I know, like, I want to try to like get into GTA. Like, I like that, and I like Call of Duty, but I try to make it like I'm better than I am. I'm not that good at it, but I do want to get better at it. So.
And then obviously when the whole cast finally met, what was that experience like? Was it be at the premiere or maybe before that, where everybody, when everybody's doing these animated stuff, they're all doing it from different places, but then at some point, when you see the finished product, were you able to talk to everybody once the product was finished, as opposed to talking throughout the production of it? One of you, like talking to Lance or Yvonne?
Really, this is my first time meeting JeCobi. We never met. I never met any of them in person. So this would hopefully be my first time meeting everyone.
Y'all didn't communicate on the phone?
No, I think we're all just kind of so busy. It's just kind of hard for us to. So it's really nice to really meet each other now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So anyway, at the end of the day, obviously, this is a fun series that people are going to enjoy watching. It's good to see you guys doing the work. Obviously, Priya, we're going to hopefully see you back. Again, we haven't gotten a date yet when we're going to see Stranger Things, but hey, the patience we can get, the more we anticipate to what we're going to see next from you. So have fun wherever you guys are at and stay safe.
Thank you. Bye.
Wilson Morales from Black Women TV. Hello, guys. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
It's not, with so much product these days, it's not always easy to get a concept and get it ready to go, especially on Netflix. So talking about putting this concept ready to go, bringing in this cast together, and just making it fun for everybody to see. Everett?
Oh, wow. It was a lot. That's a lot. But it was great when we pitched it to Netflix. They were down, like our executive Megan Casey loved the idea. She really got behind it. And for us, we always like to say we kind of like assembled the Avengers, in terms of like our team of like all of our artists, all of our directors. And we got really fortunate. Like we found some really great partners in like Dwarf Animation who handled all the animation. Super talented team. So Pat, you want to talk a little bit more?
What about you, Patrick? You want to chime in there?
Yeah, I mean, at the time we came into Netflix, like they really gave us a lot of freedom. We've both worked at a lot of different studios, and like the freedom they gave us to tell the story we wanted to tell was kind of like, I've never seen that before. And that was, to me, what was appealing about them, where it's like, it may not be as much money as like a feature film or something, but we could do what we wanted. And that was exciting. And we also got to bring in a lot of people, very opinionated people from the studios who don't maybe usually get utilized. And we're like, you're coming in here, you're working with us, and we're going to let you loose. And we owe a lot of our success to the crew that we assembled.
And part of watching any animated series is you got to find characters that you're going to like. Is there any particular character that you wanted to make sure this is the most likable one, even though it's an ensemble, but there's got to be one that we're looking and rooting for. Even there's the kids, obviously there's the dad, and the mom comes in every now and then.
Yeah.
Was there anyone in particular you guys wanted to focus on?
Well, I mean, Dad was super important. Like we knew we had to nail Dad. He was a very specific character because he had to be he had to be done in a way where it's like, all right, this guy is someone who like, he loves his family. He's hustled like really hard for them. He comes from like this like rough and tumble, childhood. So he has to be a guy who's like, can bust criminals and like be the tough guy, but also like when he yells at his kids, he's not really, it's all coming from love, right? Like it's really hard to get that tone nailed,
I would
and then
say,
the cast. Okay, Patrick.
Oh no, I was gonna say I would say Vax was one where, without saying too much, that character has some depth to them, and they have some depth to them, but they also need to be like, they're not playing around. They're revolutionary. They're in that life. And so it's that balance of kind of like, this is a professional in a story that has a lot of comedy and action, but here's someone who could be from like Andor or like another show,
right?
In our, ridiculous world.
Whenever anybody creates a series, there's always got to be that optimistic attitude that hopefully that if it does really well, there's a season 2 going to come up. So do you guys think like that, as opposed to like a limited series where it's one and done? Like, do you?
We give a little thought to it.
We're like not supposed to comment, but I hope that there's
a second season.
I think there'll be more. We are like no comment.
The first season is about characters.
Let's see. Repeat the question.
The first season of any show is introducing characters.
Yes.
And then once we get to a season 2, people are now set that, okay, this is a show that's sticking around. Because lately we've been seeing a lot of shows be canceled, and it's like, oh, I was just getting into it. How do what's going to set this apart from other shows now? Because there's a glut of product on television, cable, and streaming services. Patrick?
That's a great question. I feel the glut too. I have a hard time watching a lot of stuff. I think what sets this show apart is there's no filler episodes. I hate filler episodes. We are not about that. Everything in this is driving the story forward, and we're trying to like not waste your time. And I also think it's a unique story to tell, especially in this kind of in the animation medium. I think this story stands out, and I think that there is too much TV, so you got to make better TV.
Congratulations on getting the series off the ground. Obviously, people are expecting to see it on the 9th, and hopefully we'll do well enough that we'll talk again next year.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think you're going to be seeing a lot more Dad.
Yeah, make it so. Take care.
Take care.